Benefits of being dependable. Dependable people tend to have more opportunities, be trusted more, be better organized, follow through more, be viewed favorably by others, be more responsible. 2 short stories. Undependable Denny. Everyone said Denny was a dreamer, but Denny thought of himself more as a goal setter. He had already decided that when he went to high school next year, he was going to be class president, the captain of the freshman basketball team, be on the honor roll, and an officer in band. After high school, he was going to college where he would enroll in a pre-medicine program and study to be a doctor. By everyone's standards, Denny had some ambitious goals. On Denny's first day at Westwood High School, he met with his counselor, Mrs. Rice, to review his schedule and talk about his 4-year academic plan. Let's see, Denny, your schedule for algebra, biology, Spanish, English, world history, band, and PE. That's a full schedule. You have some pretty demanding classes. Are you sure you haven't taken on too much? Said Mrs. Rice. I like being challenged, Mrs. Rice, and I have some big plans for high school and beyond, so this schedule won't be a problem for me, replied Denny. What are your plans for after high school, Denny? I plan to attend a good university and be a pre-med major. Then I plan to go to medical school and become a surgeon. Great, Denny. It's always good to have goals. Your goals will require a strong commitment to your classes and excellent grades. As you know, college is competitive, and medical school is even more competitive. Good luck. It was only the 3rd week of school before Mrs. Rice got a note from Denny's first period math teacher that he was coming to class late. Within a few days, Denny's world history teacher said that Denny wasn't turning in his homework assignments. With this, she decided to call Denny to her office. Denny, what's going on in math and world history? I've been told you've been late to math and that you're missing assignments in world history. Oh, it's nothing, Mrs. Rice. You know in the fall the band has a pretty busy night schedule. I'm getting home late, and this cuts into my study time and getting to bed at a decent hour. In another couple of weeks, everything will be fine. It wasn't but a few more weeks that Mrs. Rice saw on Denny's midterm progress reports the same type of problems popping up. Late to class, daydreams, waste time, missing homework assignments, and not prepared for class. Mrs. Holland, his biology teacher, made a comment that greatly concerned his counselor. Denny let others in class down by not doing his share of the work on a group project. This has caused him to fail biology this quarter. In talking with Mrs. Holland, Mrs. Rice found out that Denny contributed nothing to a research project he and 4 classmates were assigned. Instead, he tried to talk the other students into letting him slide by on their work. Denny told a story to the others about being too busy with band and basketball to do any of the work. They didn't buy it, and when I heard about it, I did some checking and discovered that Denny hadn't even been showing up for band or basketball practice for over a week. I think I'm starting to get a whole new picture of Denny, said Mrs. Rice. He has a lot of lofty goals, but he isn't dependable enough to make any of his plans a reality. Upon checking with Denny's junior high school counselor, she found the same pattern. A lack of follow-through and dependence on others. Now Mrs. Rice will be talking with Denny about how realistic his goals are. She will tell Denny that without being more dependable, none of his goals are achievable, especially college and medical school. Reliable Rita. Rita's idol was Liz Parker, the star basketball player at Southgate High School. Liz was one of those players who could do it all, but she did it all because of her desire to succeed and a good work ethic. Liz was soon headed to a large university where she would be a starter on the varsity team, but she left a lasting impression on Rita, who saw that hard work and motivation pays off. Rita was a starter for Kennedy Middle School. She played excellent defense, but when it came to shooting, she was average. As point guard, she had many steals to her record, and she was able to take the ball down court and find the open player. When it came to enthusiasm, she always knew how to get the team fired up when they were down by a few points. She said it was Liz Parker who taught her that. Rita was looking forward to going to high school and being on the first string at Southgate. She worked all summer on practicing three-point shots and throwing the perfect bounce pass. She had a great practice partner, her brother Todd, who was a forward on the boys' varsity team. He made Rita work for every shot. When fall tryouts came, she was ready, but she didn't realize how stiff the competition was going to be, since there were 3 feeder schools, and now starters from those schools were all trying out for the same starting positions. She knew that her main competition was going to be Irene. Irene played point guard for Jackson Middle School and averaged 15 points a game. To Rita's disappointment, Irene was given the point guard position. Although disappointed, Rita kept working hard in practice and kept herself eligible by doing well in all of her classes. Her teachers praised her for being motivated, turning in extra credit assignments, and having perfect attendance. It was Irene that the teachers worried about. Her attendance was far from perfect, and she was missing assignments in all of her classes. "Irene, I'd like to see you a few minutes after class today," said Mrs. Leonard. "What's this about?" she replied. "We'll talk about it after class." When the bell rang to dismiss the class, Mrs. Leonard explained to Irene that if she failed the next test, she would be ineligible for basketball. She even offered to tutor her before school to help her prepare for the test. "That's not fair. The basketball team needs me, and I thought I had a 70 average, and that's passing." "That's right, 70 is passing, but if you fail the next test, your average will be below 70. "Well, don't worry, I'll pass the test, and I don't need help to do it," replied Irene as she turned and walked out of the room. On the day of the test, Irene was absent from school. Mrs. Leonard, however, discovered that Irene did show up for basketball practice after school. In checking with the front office, she found out that Irene had a friend call her in sick for the day. Mrs. Leonard decided not to let Irene take a makeup test, since she wasn't honest about her absence and then showed for practice. Rita has taken Irene's starting position and has proven to the coach that she can handle the point guard position. Rita's dependability and her hard work paid off. Irene is trying to figure out how she can get back to the team. With a failing grade in math and facing discipline action, it will be a while before she dresses again for a game. She still hasn't figured out that her coach and teammates were counting on her to pass her classes and stay out of trouble. Are you reliable? It doesn't matter how old you are. At just about every age, everyone has responsibilities. When you are a baby, you don't have any responsibilities. But by age 5, you are expected to do certain things, like pick up after yourself. By the time you get into junior or senior high school, you have a lot of responsibilities. You have to get your homework done. You have to study for tests. And you need to get to school and class on time. You also have to cooperate with your teacher, and there are rules you have to follow, like raising your hand before talking, taking turns, and being honest. At home, you may have chores. Your parents may expect you to take out the garbage, help with house cleaning, or mow the lawn. They may also expect you to make your bed, keep your room clean, and make a sack lunch for school. You may even be expected to do your own laundry. So no matter whether you are at school or at home, there are expectations. The question is, how dependable are you? Can your parents or teachers count on you to do your part? Or do they have to constantly remind you that you need to get your homework done or clean your room? The more reminders that you need, the more you are unreliable. How many reminders do you need? Famous quotes. Diamonds are only chunks of coal that stuck to their jobs. Minnie Richards Smith. The greatest ability is dependability. Bob Jones. It is our responsibilities, not ourselves, that we should take seriously. Peter Ustinov. Dependable people are like kites that will go up against any wind. Author unknown. The ultimate folly is to think that something crucial to your welfare is being taken care of for you. Robert Brault. Even when we know what is right, too often we fail to act. More often we grab greedily for the day, letting tomorrow bring what it will, putting off the unpleasant and unpopular. Bernard M. Baruch. Our capability doesn't always determine our dependability. Author unknown.